Hello, everyone. My name's Cash Miller. I'm the host of Emerging Brand, CEO of Titan Digital. Today, we're talking franchises. We're talking mini golf. We're going to be talking about some of the hot concepts that are out there. That's what this show is all about. I've got with me Doug Roth. He's with Scary Strokes. We're talking mini golf here, but we're talking entertainment, good, family, clean entertainment that you can partake in, and you could also own a franchise for if that's the space you want to be in. Doug, it's great to have you on. Tell us a bit about yourself. Tell us about Scary Strokes. It's a really cool concept.
Thank you so much, Cash. And first, let me say I'm very honored to be here with you today. Thanks for bringing me on the show, and happy to talk about Scary Strokes with you and everyone else. So Scary Strokes is a family entertainment center. Our corporate location is in Waldorf, Maryland, which is located about 35, 40 minutes south of Washington, D.C. It's about 11,000 square foot brick and mortar facility. We have two major anchor attractions you alluded to earlier. We have an 18-hole blacklight indoor miniature golf course. We have a virtual reality Omni Arena in which players physically walk into pods, run full speed, walk in virtual worlds, playing their favorite video games. Very similar to the movie Ready Player One, if anybody's ever seen that movie. And then we have about 35 to 40 the latest arcade games on the market. We're very similar to Dave & Buster's, Main Event, Ready Player or Player One amusements. Same type of high quality arcade games. And then, of course, we do things like birthday parties, special events, team building. We have some rooms that we do that as well. So it's what we've been titled by many people is that we're a mini Dave and Buster's or a mini, Main Event. So works perfect for us. And, we're not a huge corporate organization like those folks are.
Well, I always like to get started. I want to know, why did you get into this business? What makes Scary Strokes so cool? But why did you, as an entrepreneur, say, "Hey, this is the kind of business I want to be in"? What's that story?
Yeah, so it's kind of a funny story, I guess. So my kids growing up, actually, my son specifically was 5, had a not so great experience with football, tackle football, and so my wife and I decided we were going to start a youth flag football league. Kind of focus more on having fun, making sure everybody learns the basics and all that. Previous to that, I did 8 years in the Navy, no sort of ownership experience, nothing. But we thought that, it's something our community could really benefit from because we figured, there's other kids in the community besides our son who could benefit from this. So we started that flag football league. We ran that for 12 years, became the largest in the state of Maryland. And then, our kids grew up and grew old and moved out of the house. And so, it was like, well, what do we do now? What's our next step? And, being that we kind of had a foothold in the community and families, there wasn't a whole lot around here. Myself, growing up in the 80s, arcades and mini golf was just something that I frequented a lot of. And then specifically, sure. With my kids being young, we took a couple trips to Orlando, Florida. And right outside of Universal, they have an outdoor mini golf course with a lot of LED lights and things like that. So we kind of mashed that all together, and we're like, you know what? Let's kind of form Scary Strokes, and that's kind of how it started and the basis of it. And I'm sure we'll get into it later. But one of the things that we wanted to make sure that we did was, what are some of the things that people don't really care for when they go to places like, mini golf courses or indoor places in general. And those things are cleanliness and customer service. And that's one of the things that really, when we built Scary Strokes, we said, we basically, relied on making sure that our guests had the best customer service possible and that the place was immaculate. And, we're 6.5 years in, and, we've been very successful in doing that, providing that.
Well, that's great. I mean, mini golf has been around. You mentioned the 80s, right? Mini golf's been around for a long time, and it seems like, a lot of the concepts, like they're not as creative, I think, as they used to be. You know, a
Okay.
lot of the times that they have, they might look kind of cool. Like, where I'm at, we have a place that's mini golf and they got batting cages and all of that. And, it's a good family fun, center. And I know the mini golf does well,
Mhm.
but sometimes it seems like it's not as challenging, but most mini golf is also outdoors. I think I've been to one indoor course, ever, and they did, the neon lights and things,
Sure.
um, and it was cool, but it didn't really have that vibe of, really as an entertainment center,
Okay.
and that's kind of what, you've put together something that's more along those lines. It's not just mini golf. You have other things that are very attractive for kids nowadays. Let's say, so that's like really good. And also, a lot of mini golf is outdoors, and
Mhm.
boy, that can be, from a business standpoint, that can be a little bit challenging because mini golf doesn't do well in bad weather. If it's
Right.
raining, nobody's playing,
Yeah.
right? So what's for your concept, like what's some of these other things besides mini golf that you've included in the overall thing, and also why the scary strokes part of it, as far as like you've got your background going on, and I can see you've got Frankenstein and you've got Dracula and
Yeah.
stuff. So why that versus something else, as far as theming it?
Right. So great question. So, well, I guess the first thing about the theming, when we decided we were going to do indoors and we are going to do black lights and kind of, it'd be, obviously when you're dealing with black lights, it's dark, right? So, we wanted to do something that kind of made sense. We thought maybe about doing maybe like space, right? Because space is kind of dark. And then we were like, well, yeah, but there's only so much you can really do with space. And so we just kind of naturally gravitated to kind of like spooky. The kids obviously like things like Goosebumps and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
The
Yeah.
characters that you see behind me, those are our characters. The funny thing is when we first started development and design, and we came up with Scary Strokes as the name, and we're like, okay, well, what's our logo going to be? I had a little bit different vision in my mind, and I actually have drawings of it. And it was like literally like the most scariest Grim Reaper you've probably ever seen. With a golf ball. My wife was like, "We are not doing that." And she's like, "That's going to
Yeah, you
scare."
get some 3-year-old and you got the Grim Reaper.
Right. So we went for a much friendlier, logo and design, as you can tell. You had mentioned, great for kids, and it is. But what we found out is our establishment's great for adults too. Matter of fact, we had a group come in last night who rented out the entire place. It's great for date nights. It's great for team events. It's great for all ages. So sometimes we do get looped into, hey, yeah, it's great for kids, but really it's great for everybody. And going back to the mini golf thing, I mean, everybody can do mini golf. You start talking about some of these other family entertainment centers, let's say like trampoline parks, right? I'm 50 years old. There's no way in the world you're going to get me on a trampoline at this age, right? Because one fall,
Yeah.
I fall the wrong way, which I'm going to do, and bad things are going to happen. So with mini golf, you can be 2 years old, you can be 200 years old. All you're doing is gently swinging a club and playing golf. Some of the other attractions you mentioned, we do have, like I said, we have the virtual reality Omni Arena. Because we thought we did need other anchor attractions and other things besides just mini golf to really make our business successful and things that are unique. So every year we go to a convention where they basically showcase the latest things on the market. Matter of fact, I'm going to be there next week. Next week is the convention. So I'll be there next week, and I'm going to be scoping out the latest and greatest things that are out there. And that includes arcade games, mini golf fixtures, all the way down to food offerings and beverages and things like that. So we're always staying current. We're always staying fresh. And that's one of the things that I think makes us successful and that our community really thrives in coming to us, and why we've been so successful over the last 6 years.
Yeah, it's really important for any business to stay on top of, the things that are going on that can make your own location more attractive. So that's great because, as the franchise, founder, you've got to be, really in the know of the things that are going to help you stay ahead of your competition because, like I say, you're not necessarily the only, mini golf or virtual reality, type thing out there. I like that you combine those things because I've seen virtual reality like businesses that think, hey, we'll bring people in. We had one in one of the local malls where I live, and I saw it and I was like, hey, they did a great job. This is still, I could tell they put the money in, they did everything. And I said, this thing's going to last 6 months. Because it was because that's the only thing that was there. And
That's
yes, you
right.
could play all sorts of games for, in virtual reality. We used it, it
Yep.
was fun, but you need a mix of things to get people to come back again and again. It's
Yeah.
not, it's hard to do it for just one. That's why that, mini golf on its own doesn't necessarily
Yep.
work real well either. It's a combination,
Well,
it's the food, it's the venue,
yep.
all of it.
And like you said, Kat, I mean, you hit the nail right on the head. It's about repeat visits, right? It's one thing getting people into your
Mhm.
venue. Like you said, it doesn't matter if it's a VR place. It doesn't matter if it's a restaurant, right? It's all about
Yeah.
having those same people, especially, we're not in, downtown Washington, D.C. Like I said, we're, 45 minutes south of there, so we're, in a rural area of D.C. But that's our goal: is how do we get people to come back and visit and visit and visit? And that's why, like you said, we have to keep on updating our offerings. What
Hmm.
we're doing, one of the main things I'm doing next week, our golf course has been the same golf course, which is phenomenal. Don't get me wrong; it's great. We love it. It is unique, and we can dive into that if we want to. But I'm actually looking at renovating and getting a whole new one, essentially, because again, our customers have had 6 years of the same golf course. And when you talk indoors, I mean, there's not a lot of undulations or, elevation
Yeah.
changes or anything like that, right? It's all on a flat surface. So we're going to be working on that as well.
Yeah, I think too many mini courses, having played a few over the years, they make it too easy.
Mhm.
It's too basic, and so the more challenging, at least at certain stages, right, makes it more fun.
Mhm.
Yeah, because it's mini golf. You're putting,
That's right.
so you but it's about aiming for different things and
Mhm.
trying to get through like the windmill and not getting knocked back, and
That's
so
right.
there's things that you can do along those lines. Now, another thing that you are doing that I really like is the fact that it's an indoor facility versus outdoor, because I know, like, and when we first met, I told you this, story briefly. Is like I took my family to a place called Sevierville, Gatlinburg, Tennessee. It's a
Mhm.
huge tourist
Yep.
destination, and we went to mini golf. They had a great venue that was outdoors and stuff. Was not cheap. I mean, family of
Mhm.
four, it was $100 to play like 18 holes or whatever, go around, but it was outdoors.
Yep.
And it must have been about 85 degrees or something. And mini golf is all concrete when it's outdoors. It's all, it's got the little runways and everything for the holes. By the time I got to about the 12th hole, I was so done. I was like, oh my, I was, I was frying. I mean, it was like, let's say it was just 85, but that sun was beating down. So I swear on that, on the individual holes, it was not
See?
85. It was at least 10 degrees hotter. you know, and the thing is you have issues with weather, not just heat, but of course if it rains and things like
Mhm.
that. So you chose to make this as a totally indoor venue.
Mhm.
So how much of an advantage is that, from a business standpoint versus outdoor, especially when we're talking like, because you've been running this corporate location for a number of years from a revenue standpoint, because I don't know the numbers of how many missed opportunities, how many bad weather days essentially an outdoor facility deals with.
Mhm.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
where that's lost revenue.
Yeah.
Yeah, they may still have an indoor arcade or something, but how much of an advantage is it to your business versus, somebody that's outdoors?
Yeah, so that's great question, Cash. So one of the things that we benefit greatly from that actually. For example, I'll give you two different cases. One, during the summertime for us, and it differs from different facilities, but for us, summertime, June, July, August are our busiest times of the year, mainly because kids are out of school, and they're looking for things to do, and we get a ton of
Hmm.
summer camps. So a lot of summer camps come visit us, and typically what these summer camps do is when they are doing the registration and everything, they had their entire summer planned out. Like they have a calendar, so when parents sign their kids up, every day of the week they can see exactly what they're going to do. Well, obviously not every day they're coming to the Scary Strokes. However, some days they had things planned for something outdoors, and if it's 100 degrees out, we've had people call us and say, "Hey, you know what? It's going to be way too hot outside. We were going to go do this. We'd like to come to your place instead," and we get that. So, we benefit from that. Obviously, you mentioned rain. On numerous occasions, we'd get a call on a Thursday or a Friday, even on a Saturday. They're like, "Hey, we were supposed to have a birthday party, and it was supposed to be outdoors at a park or whatever like that. But the weather, they're calling for it's like 100% chance of rain, or it is raining.
Yeah.
We'd like to come over to your place and celebrate there." So, it's great that weather isn't a factor. I talked about the youth flag football league that I ran. I dealt with weather issues all the time, right? So every weekend, I was looking, are we playing today? Are we not playing today? Is it going to rain? Do I have to cancel? And I'm like, I do not want to have to go through that. So, and we can't really say that, well, when it rains, you're going to be busy. And because, sometimes it rains and, we're no busier than we would be if it wasn't raining. So, but we do benefit immensely from weather effects like that.
Yeah, well, it's kind of a comparison to, if you had a similar franchise, but it was outdoor related, you just said it, it's not necessarily that we're busier on a rainy day. No, you're doing the same, but that's the key. You're still doing the same kind of business versus the outdoor venue that's not. That's right. That's the edge.
Yep.
That's the advantage of, when you have any kind of family entertainment venue, of it being an indoor facility, you stay busy, the other guy doesn't.
That's right. And it's all climate controlled, right? So when you come visit us, you're going to be comfortable. Unfortunately,
that's true too.
like a pig on the 12th hole. I mean, you come to us and it's going to be a comfortable 72 degrees. So
yeah. So that's like huge, from the standpoint of these types of businesses have been around a long time, so what's the opportunity here, for potential franchise owners and stuff? Why do they want to go with a Scary Strokes? Because there's a lot of family entertainment type venues. So what's the advantages that you see that you think you offer, from a business standpoint?
Yeah, so I think there's quite a few actually. First of all, I mean, it didn't really go into my background, but I'm a full-time employee for a DoD contractor. This Scary Strokes is a partnership with me and my wife, and my wife's a full-time employee with the U.S. Postal Service. Yes, so we both have full-time jobs, and we are able and always have been able to have Scary Strokes kind of as a side business, if you will. Although, there's a lot that goes into it. Obviously, when we first started, we had to dedicate a little bit more time in making sure we got it all up. We're not in there, 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, or longer than that. We have a staff of 10 folks. We have a general manager who basically takes on the day-to-day operations. And then we have 2 operations managers who are basically the managers on duty. So with 10 people on our team, it's a small staff, so it's easy to maintain and facilitate. And the great thing about Scary Strokes is that it's a business of fun. It's a great opportunity. So even if you have a full-time job, and if you want this to be your full-time job, I mean, you could do that as well. My wife and I talk all the time, like, hey, we could quit our full-time jobs and just kind of focus on this. But, we've been with both of our respective companies for a long time. So, we decided to or at least for right now, stay with them. It's a fun business to be in. The way that we bring in our staff is very unique. We train a certain way to make sure that, we've really built a culture inside of Scary Strokes. A lot of places that you go to, especially in this industry, you go in, the place is a mess. It's unorganized. the mannerisms and the way the customers get treated. It's unfortunate. Unfortunately, and again, it doesn't really matter whether it's mini golf or the grocery store down the road. A lot of it's the same, but we actually have trained our staff exactly how we want things to be ran and how we want them to operate and how we want the cleaning to get done. So if you Google Scary Strokes on Google, and just look at the reviews, you're going to see one of two things. They're either going to talk about how clean the place is, or they're going to talk about how great the staff is. Our golf course offering, it's very unique. Our golf course is probably the only one that I know of. There may be others that maybe I don't know of, but I mean, our golf course, you actually walk through it like an attraction or like a museum. So every hole is its own corridor that you're walking down, and the golf course itself is sectioned into 3 different sections. So there's a graveyard section, there's a haunted house section, and there's an ancient Egypt section. And as you walk through, you don't know what's around the corners and everything. And of course, nothing's jumping out at you, scaring the bejesus out of you. But
yeah,
but it is an adventure. It's something that it's memorable. And one of the biggest things that we get told all the time is the vibe that people get when they come into Scary Stroke, especially if it's their first time. We have 2 big black doors that they open up, and once they open the doors up, all the games are on, all the lights are on. We have what's called Tomb TV. Again, I'm 50. I grew up in the era of MTV. So we created Tomb TV to where we have all throughout the golf course and throughout our lobby area, we have music video television playing. And then, it's themed in Tomb TV. So every, couple of videos, you're listening to Tomb TV. So great. They can hear you 6 feet under and stuff like that. So
that's good. I like that. And so you got a really good semi-absentee opportunity here, which is really good, and it's because I think in the franchise space, there's not necessarily enough of those that, because a lot of them, a lot of franchises, you end up getting a job out of it because they need you to, be in the trenches, do the ins and outs. And that's not what everybody's looking for. They're looking for, something where you can oversee things, but you don't necessarily have to run the day to day. You want to make sure the finances are good, and if they need help hiring and things like that, but you want to, you may have a day job, you may have, other businesses you run. So it's a good opportunity there. What are you looking for, or what do you think makes a good franchise owner? What's the kind of the qualifications or characteristics, as it were?
Well, I think really it my wife and I have worked so hard in creating Scary Strokes. I mean, right down to the design of it. We sat at our kitchen table and we actually, drew out, hey, this is where the golf course is going to be. Here's where the concessions are going to be. We've done all that. And the other thing is, like I mentioned in the beginning of our interview, is we wanted to make sure that the customer service and the cleanliness is to our par. And so we want to make sure that people and franchisees of Scary Strokes buy into that they want that they want, we consider ourselves a high quality family entertainment center. And so we need people who want to be that. We're not, and I'll say it here, but I ban my entire staff from saying it. We're not Chuck E. Cheese. This isn't a place where you walk into and
good, because Chuck E. Cheese is horrible.
Exactly. You're not going to walk in and there's chaos and kids running all around, all wild and all that. That's not what Scary Strokes is. It is a high quality family entertainment center. You come in, everything is operating, everything is not broken, everything is organized. And so we need people that understand that and want that. If they want Chuck E. Cheese, then that's not what Scary Strokes is. We have a reputation, and we've worked hard to get that reputation. And so if people believe in, great customer service, then that's the type of franchisees that we want. We want people that really buy into what we've created, and what we can do. And we're going to help them the entire way. Our thing is we've come so hard or so far, and we worked so hard to where we are that when we get our franchisees in, we want to make sure they succeed, because if they don't succeed, then that tarnishes our brand and our reputation that we built and worked so hard for. So, failure is not an option.
Yeah.
We're it's obviously in our packaging, but we supply all the training, and that includes site visits, phone calls, emails, whatever. But it's really, I won't say it takes a unique person, but we definitely want the right person. All the way down to our birthday parties. The way we train our birthday parties. One of the things that I tell our party pros when they interview for the position is, think back to, one of the best birthday parties you ever had in your life. I said, usually there's always one when you were a kid that kind of sticks out amongst everybody, all the others. And I tell them, I said, that's that feeling that you have, and that memory that you have is the goal when somebody books a birthday party here. And we go through all the training on how to supply that. But, people got to buy into it from, and it starts at the top. I mean, myself, my wife both buy into it. And like I said, we've built this culture with our staff to where they buy into it. And that's the success really of Scary Strokes.
I think that's really great, because there's birthday parties is an interesting way to put it, because I know, having taken my kids, and you get like the local bowling alley and they want to bowl and stuff, but the experience is not really that great if you think about it.
That's right.
The kids have fun and everything, but it's not one of those that, ask them a couple of years later.
That's right.
That question of what's the most memorable, it won't be those,
Yeah. And that's what we say. We tell our party pros, when they get my age and they say, hey, what was your best birthday party, that we want them to say, well, when I was 6 or 7, my mom and dad took me to Scary Strokes and it was the best birthday party ever. And our birthday parties, they're, the way that they're designed and the way that they're trained is, our party pros are the entertainment. So they are actually facilitating it from the time that they get there to the time that they leave, and they provide the entertainment. Because like you said, bowling alleys, I'll say, 90% of the places, commercial places where you go for birthday parties, they just want you in, collect your money, here's your stuff, and then you're out, and then in comes the next one, right? And they're on to the next.
Yeah.
And ours is more personable touch than that.
That's great. Okay, so we're nearing the end of our show, and one of the things I like to do with this show is I want you to give me your 30-second elevator pitch. Why should somebody be a Scary Strokes franchisee? What is the pitch you would make to them?
Well, I say this, it's a fun business. It's a profitable business. We've been in business for 6+ years. We've been profitable from year one till now. If you want to make memories and have, improve your community, have kids remember this for a lifetime, Scary Strokes is really where you want to be at. Again, we have a great support system. We provide all the training. And quite frankly, like I said, it's the best business that I could ever be a part of. And obviously I'm saying that because I own it. But
yeah, sure.
But it truly is an enjoyable business to own. And like I said, it's very profitable. And I do it essentially part-time. So, I mean, it's great. It's fun. And it's not overly, it's not too expensive compared to a lot of other similar places.
That'll be my final question then. What's the investment?
Good question. So basically it's a $35,000 franchise fee. We have 7% royalties. The bottom end of our investment is $439,000. That basically gets you everything Scary Strokes has, minus the virtual reality Omni Arena, which is the 4-player Omni Arena. If you want to include that, we can definitely include that, but your investment is looking at around $639,000. It's about another $200,000 investment. Cash on hand, to get started, you're probably looking at about $150,000. That'll get you, the funding and the loans that you need, and unless you have the cash or funds and resources available to you, then great. But basically $150,000 is typically the minimum that you need to get started in having Scary Strokes.
Okay, so Doug, if people want to get a hold of you, they're interested in a Scary Strokes franchise, how are they going to reach you?
The best way to reach us is through our website, which is www.scarystrokesfranchise.com. And there you'll see all the information. You'll see the fees, the breakout, basically from step one to grand opening, kind of the flow and process and how we'll get your Scary Strokes up and running. Contact information is on there as well. And you can also check out our corporate location at scarystrokes.com if you want to kind of get a feel of what we do at our corporate location and kind of see, all the amenities that we offer. And I mentioned earlier, but just, you can simply Google Scary Strokes. Fortunately for us, it's pretty unique. So you won't get a whole bunch of different results back, but just look for Scary Strokes mini golf. And, we're very proud to say that, whether it be Yelp or Facebook or Google or TripAdvisor, there's a few others out there. Our reviews are 4.5 or higher across the board on all those platforms. And again, it goes back to, kind of how we present ourselves and our staff presents ourselves and the brand.
Okay, well, this has been a great conversation, Doug. My name's Cash Miller. I'm the host of Emerging Brands. We're talking to franchises that are on the rise, opportunities that if you're an entrepreneur and you're looking to expand your empire, or you're looking to become an entrepreneur and you want to be part of something like bigger, something that has got an established business model, this is the show you want to listen to. I'm the CEO of Titan Digital, but also Titan Media Works that produces this podcast, and we do podcast production. If you need any help, let us know. Doug, it's been great having you as a guest. I wish Scary Strokes all the best. It is a great concept, and I think if you're looking for a business, this is one you should take a look at. Thank you for joining.
Thank you so much.